Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Jai Hind, and welcome to Khan Global Studies. So, I hope all of you are doing well. Good evening. So, right now we see that the Parliament session of the monsoon session of Parliament has started, and it is the initial days, but we are seeing that there is frequent disruption. Now, over the period of time, if something new bill is coming up, some new act is being formed, so then that is going to become relevant from our point of discussion. But right now, the way the session is going on, nothing major is coming out of it. Okay. So that is one thing which we have seen. Now, the topics which we are going to discuss today, we have limited topics. One of the topic which we are going to discuss today is about the editorial with respect to changing dimensions of warfare. So this is one of the editorial which is talking about this, that how warfare has been changing over the period of time. Like from the time of Second World War to the present times, it is tracing that history, that how it has been changing. The second thing which we are going to talk about is the presidential reference. Okay. A presidential reference has been provided to the Supreme Court. Supreme Court has been there is seeking of this advisory opinion of the Supreme Court. So in that context, we are going to discuss. The third topic which we are going to discuss about is about the vice president election. And the fourth topic which we will talk about is the passport index. Although not very important, but then again, there was no such important news in the newspaper also. Okay. So we are going to discuss these topics in today's session. So tell me, how is your study going on? Acha, today is income tax day. So pay your income tax. Pay your income tax on time. Those who are having income, they can worry about it. Okay. Like after your examination, some of you are going to be there. Same thing. Okay. No income, no tax. So when you are going to be selected and when some of you are going to be there in income tax, so then you will also be coming with income tax rate at multiple locations. Okay. I am also following your principle, no income, no tax. Okay. I'm also following like all of you, that no income, no tax. Okay. So that's why the same principle I am also using. No income, no tax. Chalo. No, you cannot that if you are getting online payments and everything, you can never do the income tax. You can never do that theft of income tax. You cannot cheat with the income tax department. Otherwise, they will come to your house. Okay. So let's start our discussion. The topics which we are going to discuss today, like just let me give you, I have already told you that what topics we are going to discuss in today's session. Now let us discuss some questions first. With reference to diabetes, consider the following statement. Type 1 diabetes is a lifestyle disease which is highly prevalent in India. In type 1 diabetes, the pancreas produces little amount of insulin. The person suffering from type 1 diabetes requires constant doses of insulin. ये बस स्टूडेंट पर ही लागू होता है So, type 1 diabetes is a lifestyle disease which is highly prevalent in India. In type 1 diabetes, the pancreas produces little amount of insulin. The person suffering from type 1 diabetes requires constant doses of insulin. How many statements are correct? C option, B option. Okay. B option. See, if you look at this, type 1 diabetes is not a lifestyle related disease. It is part of a genetical disease. It is part of an autoimmune. It is part of an autoimmune genetic problem, which is not a lifestyle problem. So it is related to heredity. It is related to heredity. It is not related. It is not related with this like lifestyle disease. The first one is incorrect. In type 1 diabetes, the pancreas produces a little amount of insulin. No. In fact, what we see that there is no such production. Why no such production? Because what we see that the pancreas are producing the insulin, but that is getting destroyed. They are getting destroyed by the immune system of the body. So here what we see that the immune system is killing the immune system. It is destroying the beta cells of the pancreas. It is destroying the beta cell of the pancreas. So there is no such production of insulin. So this second option is also incorrect. In the case of type 2 diabetes, we see that the insulin which is produced is not sufficient enough. Here there is no such like little production, more production. Here simply the insulin is being produced and it is destroyed. Okay. Why? Because this is an autoimmune disease. Autoimmune means here the immune system of body recognizes the beta cell and the insulin as a threat to the body. So the person suffering from type 1 diabetes requires constant dosage of insulin. This is the one correct option. So answer here is option number A. Coming to second question, stem cells can be obtained from mammals only. Stem cell therapy is not allowed in India. Use of a stem cell therapy is allowed to create designer babies. Stem cells can be obtained. Stem cells can be obtained from the mammals only. Stem cell therapy is not allowed in India. Use of stem cell therapy is allowed to create designer babies. So what will be the answer here? A option. First one is saying stem cells can be obtained from mammals only. This one is incorrect. It can be obtained from other organisms also. It is not only mammals. The first one is incorrect. Stem cell therapy is not allowed in India. That is also incorrect. Stem cell therapy is allowed in India. It is not allowed at full extent, but it is allowed in certain areas. In certain areas, stem cell therapies is allowed, especially for transplantation, like skin transplant or for muscle repair and all. So that for that purpose, stem cell therapy is allowed. The second one is also incorrect. Use of stem cell therapy is allowed to create designer babies. This is also incorrect. No designer babies is allowed. So here again, the answer is going to be option number D. Designer babies are not allowed, not only in India, across the world. Coming to third question, how many of the following are correct regarding black holes? A sun-like star eventually ends up as a black hole. Light cannot come out of the black hole. The density of a neutron star is more than that of a black hole. So how many of them are correct? How many of the following are correct regarding the black holes? The first one is saying a sun-like star eventually ends up as a black hole. Light cannot come out of the black hole. Third one is saying the density of a neutron star is more than that of a black hole. Questions tough today. B option. Okay. So here in this question, if we look at this, a sun-like star eventually ends up as a black hole. That is incorrect. Sun-like star is eventually going to form a dwarf star. It is not going to form a black hole. A sun-like star is eventually going to become a dwarf. Okay. Light cannot come out of the black hole. This is one part which is correct. The density of a neutron star is more than that of a black hole. It is also incorrect. The density of a black hole is enormously large. There is no comparison. The density of a black hole is enormously greater than that of a neutron star. Okay. If there is less density, it becomes a neutron star. If there is very high density, it becomes a black hole. So this one option is incorrect. The answer will be option number A. Only one. So what happened today? Why so many answers as incorrect? Out of practice? See, we didn't have class for one day and you are out of practice. Yes, so look at this one part. Like we have seen most of these topics. You need to focus. You need to focus on the statements. They are easy statements. They are easy questions. So need to focus on the statements. Okay. Now, the topics. Let's start with today's topic. The first one is changing dimension of the warfare. Okay. It is talking about the reality of changing dimensions of the warfare. Okay. So initially we have seen that like yes. So you were out of practice for 1 day. That's why the incorrect, right? Okay, I accept my fault. It was fault from my side that I didn't do class yesterday. And so because of me, you were out of practice. That's why you have marked it incorrect, right? Okay, I accept my mistake. Okay. Next time I will like to make sure that there is no such gap. Okay. So let's start with this one part, changing dimensions of warfare. Changing dimensions of warfare. So now what we see that like there was this time of World War. Okay, there was this time of World War. Like if we see the things, the chronology of last like 200 years or 150 years, what you see that in this part we have got World War I. World War I. Okay, and in this part you may have seen this, you may have observed it, that when we were having this World War I or even prior to this, there was a proper ideology. This was inspired by the ideology. Okay. There was one thing like it was inspired by some ideology. And at the same time, ideology and imperialism. Okay. Ideology and imperialism. That was the main root of the war during this time, during the World War I. Okay. Now we see that at that time, like when Germany came to the war, when Britain came to the war, when Russia came to the war, so there was this prevalence of an ideology, and that ideology has fueled the war. That ideology has fueled the war, and it was a basic, a traditional war. Okay. This was the time when it was more of a conventional or traditional war. It was a conventional war. But then after we see that in the second part, when we were having the Second World War, it was somewhat different. the Second World War, if you look at this, there is a difference in the First World War and Second World War. Okay. What you will find here, that in the case of Second World War, this time also it was conventional war, but it was initially a conventional war. Conventional war initially. But we have seen that from here there was this nuclear war which started. Okay. This marked the era of a new phase, a nuclear war phase. And nuclear was understood as one thing like which every country wanted to avoid. Even though countries are having their nuclear weapons, but they want to avoid this nuclear war. Because nuclear war is not creating an impact for 1 day, 2 days, or 1 week, 1 year, 1 decades. Nuclear war is creating impact for generations. It is creating impact for generations, and its impact on humanity is going to be for a very longer period of time. Okay. And then after, what we see that, then after, what we see after this, that after this Second World War, okay, like after the Second World War, we have seen that there have been several smaller wars. There have been several smaller wars. There have been several smaller wars like Korean War, Vietnam War, etc., etc. Okay. So what we see that there was no peace. It's not that it was no peace era. It was no peace era. We have seen it is also having Vietnam War. Okay. There was this Korean War, and many other struggles were going on during this time. Numerous smaller struggles were also going on during this time. So during this Cold War also, like even during this Cold War era, what we see that several smaller wars were going on. But then after what we see that, then after we see that there was this 1990. There was this 1990. And then after we have this end of Cold War. There was this end of Cold War. And for a certain period of time, after this end of Cold War, we see that there was the prevalence of a unipolar world. Unipolar world. And in this time itself, there was one another major event. There was one another major event which occurred during this time, that was 9/11 in US. That was 9/11 in US. Okay. Now what we see that this led to beginning of a new era. This led to beginning of a new form of war. New form of war. This started a new form of war which was preemptive strike. Preemptive strike. We have seen that US has carried out preemptive strikes on many countries, many locations of the world. We have seen that there have been small scale operations by United Nations in various parts of the world. This was a change. This was a change that now there is no need of having a declared war. There is no need of having a declared war. If there is a confusion or if there is a chance that there can be a threat, there can be a preemptive war also by some of the powerful countries. It was done mostly by the powerful countries. We have seen it was done in Iraq, it was done in Syria, it was done in various other parts of West Asia. So we see that during this war, it was the West Asia which was highly impacted. West Asia which was highly impacted. Then what we see that again, if we look at this, there is a new phase of war, and that is about assertiveness plus at the same time self-interest. Okay. We can call it assertiveness plus protecting self-interest. Protecting self-interest. Here also, it was a continuation of the preemptive war. It was also a preemptive war. Okay. Like you can see, the Russia's invasion of Crimea. Then we see that Russia's attack, Russia-Ukraine crisis. Then we also see that there has been US involvement in Israel-Iran conflict. Israel-Iran conflict. Okay. Then China's aggressive policy in South China Sea as well as towards the Indian border. Okay. So China's aggressive policy, in this South China Sea and also Indian borders. So if you see, there have been different phases of war. First of all, the World War I and II, it was fought mainly along this conventional style, plus at the same time what we see that was more of a ideological war. Ideology plus imperialism. Ideology and imperialism, that was causing this war. Then there was the phase, like World War ended with nuclear war, World War II ended with nuclear war, and it sort of created a deterrent. It sort of created a deterrent from a major conflict. The nuclear war at the end of World War II, it has created a deterrent because no major powers were directly engaging. Russia and US, or Soviet and US, were not directly engaging. Although smaller forms of war continued in parts of Vietnam, in parts of Korea, in parts of Cuba, in parts of even Afghanistan. So this was one thing which was going on. Then after, what we see that 1990s, there was creation of a unipolar world. But at the same time, we also see that a major event was there in the form of 9/11. After that, there was a beginning of a new era of preemptive strikes. US has carried out, largely US has carried out preemptive strikes on many other countries of the world. Then we see that there was the next phase after this thing, a simultaneous phase also emerged, that is about assertiveness and self-interest. Why Russia has attacked Crimea or Ukraine? Because they wanted to secure the access to the Black Sea region. At the same time, what we also see that China is trying to have its access to South China Sea and also to this Arabian area. Okay. So it is having its assertiveness plus it is protecting its self-interest. It thinks that if it is having access to South China also and Arabian Sea also, it can have greater benefits. Okay. So this is the new phase. But now what we see that there is a transformation in the war style also. Transformation in strategy. There is a transformation in strategy also. Okay. Transformation in a strategy also. Earlier it was like conventional. Earlier it was conventional. Then it became nuclear. And then it became modern warfare. Okay. It was conventional, where we have seen, if you look at this, it was conventional, where it was about army, weapons, strategy. Then nuclear is nuclear, you know that. Okay, it was acting as a deterrent. But now what we see that modern warfare has emerged. This modern warfare is highly inspired by technology. Here it is about artificial intelligence. Here it is about cyber crime or cyber warfare. Here it is about economic warfare. Okay. Here it is about unmanned air vehicles. Here it is also emerging about, there is also a chance that it may emerge with respect to space warfare also, okay, or space-based warfare. And there is a great deal of it which is also about misinformation. It is also about misinformation. Okay. So now we see that it is not that anyone is going to directly attack any country and then risk losing their assets also. Now it is more about cyber war, cyber crime. There is a very good series which has come recently, and it's the third season of that series, and still it has been like very good as per me. Okay. Special Ops 2.0. Okay. So what we see that is also talking about this cyber warfare and economic warfare. So you see that this has become reality. When India and Pakistan were engaged during Operation Sindoor, there was a great deal of misinformation which was being spread by the Chinese media, by the Chinese agencies. They were creating huge rumors, huge misinformation in India and in the world. Okay. So this is one thing which we see. This is one thing also which we have been seeing, that over the period of time, now the conventional has changed to nuclear, and now it has emerged more as a modern warfare. So, see, biological warfare is there, which no one will do directly. Okay. Modern, if we talk about the ship-based or other things, you see, submarines and others, they will come here only. The submarine-based and others, they are part of this conventional only. The ship-based and others, they are part of this conventional only. Okay. So this is one thing. Now the warfare is changing. The warfare is changing. Okay. So what we see that when we are making our policies, it can no longer be confined to this part, that we have to just acquire more weapons, more like Rafale or more such BrahMos or other things. We need to work on these areas also. We need to have our policies with respect to unmanned air vehicles, with respect to space awareness also, with respect to cyber warfare also. So we need to create a resilience against all these types of warfare also. So that is what this article is also suggesting, that we have to rethink all these factors. So I hope this one part is clear, that what is the new form or what is the transformation in the warfare. We have seen from the beginning to the present how the things have been changing. So I hope this part is clear. Now, coming to second part. Coming to this second part, which is about presidential reference. Okay. The second part, it is about presidential reference. So tell me one thing. What do you know about this one issue? What do you know about this one presidential reference? What is this ongoing issue? Why it is there in the news? Why we are talking about it? A few days ago, we have seen that in the newspaper, there was this one article that Supreme Court has started to hear about this presidential reference. It has taken up, it has decided to take this presidential reference. Just one second. I hope now it is visible. Under Article 143, okay? Yes. The Article 143 of the Constitution is providing for this presidential reference. Article 143 is providing for this preferential reference. About Jagdeep Dhankar, we have already talked, and we were talking about this. We are going to talk about also this one part, that what is going to be the election process. We will talk about this one part, what is going to be the election process. So here, presidential reference, this is the one topic which we are going to see. Now, there is a context of it. There is a context behind this. Okay. What is the context? That in this recently, what we see that in the month of April, Supreme Court has given this one judgment. Supreme Court has given this one judgment in R.N. Ravi case. R.N. Ravi case. This was the famous case with respect to governor's power to withhold bill, or give assent. So I have told you then also that Supreme Court has specified a timeline. Supreme Court has specified this one timeline. The timeline was fixed that with cabinet advice, you have to give assent within 1 month. With the cabinet advice, you have to give within 1 month. If you want to return it back, you have 3 months timeline. If you want to reserve it for the president also, then also you have 3 months time. And if the bill has been reconsidered and it has been passed again by the legislature, then you have to pass it within 1 month. Then you have to give assent within 1 month. So certain timelines were decided. Certain timelines were decided by the judiciary that how the governor is supposed to act. Okay. So we have seen about this timeline. We have seen this timeline also, that 1 month for assent, 3 months that was for return, 3 months it was for reserving. Okay. And at the same time, 1 month for repassed bill. 1 month was there for repassed bill. So that was one judgment of the Supreme Court with respect to this governor's case. Now, yes, Tamil Nadu governor. Yes, it is related to Tamil Nadu governor. So now what we see that under Article 143, there have been many questions which has been provided to the judiciary, that can judiciary decide this timeline or not, what will be the power of governor, can it be extended to the president or not. So around 14 questions have been provided to the judiciary. Around 14 points, 14 questions has been raised to the judiciary. And this is under Article 143. Under 143, there is one thing called as advisory jurisdiction. There is one thing called as advisory jurisdiction. So the president has asked certain questions. They have sent the questions. They have sent the questions to the Supreme Court. Okay. They have sent the question to the Supreme Court. So now there is one thing. Let's say that first part this, is Supreme Court bound to give advisory jurisdiction or not? Is it mandatory for Supreme Court or not? Mandatory or not? The first part is this: if the president is referring a matter to the Supreme Court for its advisory jurisdiction, is it binding for the Supreme Court to give its advice or not? So first thing is, it is not mandatory. Okay. It is not mandatory. Now, and the same manner, whatever the advice is given by the Supreme Court, is it binding upon the government? Okay. Like suppose if Supreme Court is giving some advice, so this is also not binding because it is advisory. It is not binding. Okay. So here also what we see that if Supreme Court also gives some advice under this Article 143, it will not be binding on the government. Now, the next part. Suppose that in this case, like let us say that Supreme Court, let us say Supreme Court is saying that in this advisory jurisdiction, Supreme Court, let us assume, suppose it is saying that Supreme Court cannot decide timeline. Let us say Supreme Court is saying that it cannot decide the timeline. Then in that situation, will the judgment become ineffective? What will be the impact on the judgment? Impact on R.N. Ravi case judgment. What will be the impact on R.N. Ravi case judgment? If Supreme Court is saying here in the advisory jurisdiction, if the Supreme Court is saying that Supreme Court cannot decide it, it was perhaps a mistake. Let us say Supreme Court is saying this, that it was a mistake, it has to be done only by the Constitution, judiciary cannot decide this. Let us say Supreme Court says this also. So will it mean that the judgment which has been provided earlier will become ineffective or not? What will be the impact on the judgment? Will it become effective or ineffective? Now tell me about this one part. Okay. If the Supreme Court here is saying that Supreme Court cannot decide the timeline, then what will be the impact on the judgment? Will it be effective or will it become ineffective? What will be the impact then on it? Ineffective. Okay. Remember one thing, despite whatever is said by Supreme Court here, this one still remains effective. Still remains effective. It still remains effective. So it doesn't matter what Supreme Court is saying here. Irrespective of what Supreme Court says here in the advisory jurisdiction, what we will see that there is going to be no direct impact on the effectiveness of R.N. Ravi case. There can be next part. There can be a review petition which can be filed on the basis of it. And on the basis of that review petition, then the bench can again decide whether it will remain effective or not. Okay. So after this, what is the option? That a review petition only this can change the effect of judgment. Only this can change the effect of judgment. So irrespective of what Supreme Court is saying here in the advisory jurisdiction, there is going to be no impact on the R.N. Ravi case. Okay. So even if Supreme Court is saying that Supreme Court should not have decided the timeline, it will only become a basis. And on that basis, a review petition will be filed separately. That separate review petition may lead to getting this judgment be declared ineffective. But there is going to be no direct implication because that is a judgment of the Supreme Court. That is a judgment of the Supreme Court. And a review petition will have to be filed in a bench which is like bigger than the bench which has been created earlier. Suppose it was a bench of 3 judges. So next time you will need a 5-judge bench, although it was already 5-judge bench. So next time you will need a 7-judge bench which will then overturn this decision. Okay. So then this so advisory jurisdiction, okay, advisory jurisdiction is not creating any such impact. It is not creating any such impact on the judgment as such. So I hope this one part is clear. Okay. Advisory jurisdiction doesn't have such impact on the judgments. So this is the second thing which we have discussed. The first part was this, what was the context here? Then under Article 143, President can give questions. Third part we have seen that what if says this, still it remains effective. And what we see that only a review petition can change this one part. Okay. So this is one thing which we see with respect to the presidential reference. This was also an ongoing thing. Okay. Now coming to the next article. So the Vice President of India has resigned from his post. Why the Vice President resigned? This is a question which will not be asked in the examination, that why the Vice President has resigned from his post. Okay. So there are multiple things which are coming in the newspaper, maybe due to this reason or that reason, Vice President has resigned. But yes, it is something which we don't see on every day. Okay. We don't see that Vice President is resigning every day or someone is resigning every day. Okay. So what Vice President has said that due to health issues, he has resigned. Now in today's newspaper, in the Hindu newspaper, in a news section, it was given in the Hindu newspaper that there may have been some other issues. Okay. There may have been some other issues. Like one of the news report was claiming this one thing, that during his tenure, he was not given he was not given this opportunity to represent India in different platforms. Okay. Or he was not made part of the external visits and other things which were mentioned in the newspaper. But that is not so much relevant. That is not so much relevant. So we are not going to look into this part. Okay. What we are going to focus mainly, here is what is the procedure? What is the procedure for the removal? So for the election. Removal we have already seen, we have already discussed in the previous classes. So we are going to talk about the election process. Okay. So what we see, the election, it is going to be conducted by the Election Commission of India. It is going to be conducted by the Election Commission of India. It is going to be a proportional representation system. Proportional representation system. It is going to be done by secret ballot and single transferable vote. Single transferable vote. So can you tell me this one part, what is the meaning of single transferable vote? Anyone? Can you tell me what is the meaning of this single transferable vote? What is the single transferable vote? Any idea about this? What is the meaning of this single transferable vote? per person will be giving 3 choice. Why only 3 choice? What will be the voting process? Proportional representation voting system. Okay, दिमाग में नहीं आ रहा है. Just to give you an idea, how does this work? Okay, see, suppose that there are 4 candidates, A, B, C, D. Okay, now in this case, if there are different voters, so they are going to give their choices. Like one can give choice 1 to him, choice 3 to him, choice 2 to him, and choice 4 to him. Okay. So suppose that this total number of votes, is, let's say, 100. So for winning, there is a requirement of 51 votes. Now let's say A has got 31, means he has been given 30 first preference. Okay. Then we have C. B has got, let us say, he has also got 30 first preference. Okay. C has got like 25 first preference, and D has got, let's say, remaining 15 first preference. Okay. So in the first round, what we will see that these two are going to be eliminated. They will be eliminated. They are eliminated. They are in the second round of voting. Now from them it will be counted. From them it is going to be counted that how many second preference has been provided. So let us say that these 25 people who have given the vote to C, 20 of them, or let us say 15 of them, has mentioned A as their second choice. And here out of 15 people, let us say that 7 people have mentioned A as the second choice. Okay. They have mentioned A as the second choice. So now what we see that total, how many we have got? 15 plus 7. It means 22. He has got 22 second choice. Let us say remaining has given B as the choice. Okay. Let us say here B has got 10 and here B has got 8. So B has got total 18 second choice. B has got 18 second choice. A has got 22. So now it is going to be added. So for A, it becomes 30 plus 22, and B, it becomes 30 plus 18. So for him it becomes 52 and for him it becomes 48. So A becomes the winner. Okay. So it is a transferable vote system. Okay. It is a transferable vote system. So they are giving ranking to different, and till the time they reach here, till the time any one of them reaches here, the voting will go on. Like suppose in second preference also they have not been counted, then third preference will be counted. So in this manner, we get the winner. Now, most of the time we see that there are only 2 candidates or 3 candidates. So it is easier to find one. Most of the time it is easily like 2 or 3 candidates. Okay. Now, last day also I have asked you this one thing. How many proposers? How many proposers and how many seconders are required? How many proposers and how many seconders will be required? Achha, I will come to that part. Again. I will explain it by taking a simple example of 10 voters. Okay. So here we see that 20 here 20 here also. 20 here also. So let me repeat this by taking a simple example, that there are in total 4 candidates, A, B, C and D, and there are 10 voters. Okay. V1, V2, V3, V4, V5 and V10. Okay. So there are 4 candidates. There are 4 candidates and they need 6 votes. They need 6 votes for winning because it is majority plus 1. Let us say this person has mentioned A, B, C and D. This person has mentioned B, A, C, D. This has mentioned B, C, A, D. This person has mentioned C, A, B, D. A, B, C, D. Okay. So these people have given their preference. There are 10 voters. There is a minimum requirement of 6. So how many A have got? 1, 2, 3. A has got first 3. B has also got like 1, 2, 3, 4. B has got 4. Okay. C has got 1. And D has also got C has got 2. And A has got 1. Okay. So now what we see that in the first race, these two are eliminated. These two have been eliminated. But we are going to count their vote now. Okay. We are going to see this one part. We are also going to see this one vote. We are going to see this one vote. Okay. Now in this case, we see that here the second option is A. Here also the second option is A. So here he has got 2. Now B has also got nothing. Sorry, B has also got 1. B has got 1. Okay. So now we see that it is 5 and it is 5. It is 5 and 5. Now we are coming to the third preference. So second round over, now we are coming to the third preference. Here we see 1 B is there, 1 B is there, C is there. So it means plus 2 on this side. 5 plus 2, 7. So B is the winner. So first we have counted the second round, then we have counted the third round. Okay. So now I hope this part is clear. I have given you a simple example also. First we have counted this one part, that 1, 2, 3. We have written it 3. B 1, 2, 3, 4. They have got 4. Now we have seen that there are 3 voter 4, voter 8, voter 9. There are 3 voters. They are going to decide the winner or the loser. So now we are looking at these 3 voters. What is their second preference? 2 of them have given second preference here. 3 plus 2, 5. One of them has given second preference as B. 5, 5 again equal. But you require how much? You require 6. Now coming to their third choice. In third choice, they have mentioned B here, B here. C was not the choice. Okay. So 2 votes provided to B. B is the winner. Okay. So first we have counted the first round. This is the second round. But second round will continue only for these 2. Only for these 3 voters, not for all the voters. Only for these 3 voters, we are going to count how much second vote they have given. Okay. See, why we have counted V4, V8 and V9? Because they are the voters who have not chosen either A or B as their first preference. So then we will see, is their second preference B or A? So their first vote has been rejected. This vote has been rejected. This vote has been rejected. Now we are coming to their second vote. Their second vote is A and B. Then also we have not reached the answer. Then coming to the third part. Okay. Then we see that their third part is they have given like preference to B. So that's why they have given, okay, they have given this B the mandate. So B will become the winner in this condition. Okay. The voters have given the preference. Okay. So I hope now it is clear why we have selected V4, V8 and V9, because they had not chosen A and B in the first instance. So we will check their second voting. So this is the process of proportional representation system through which the vice president election is going to be carried out. Okay. So this is the process through which we are going to carry out the vice president election process. It seems difficult here, but generally what we see that 1 or 2 persons are only contesting. Okay. What is the age limit? What is the age limit? Yes, 35. Age limit is 35 and must be qualified to become a member of Rajya Sabha. Okay. They must be qualified to become a member of Rajya Sabha, plus at the same time should be of 35 years of age. So right now you have no option. Okay. Now coming to the next part. So there is a small topic. Okay. There is a very small topic. 90,000. 90,000, or I think the money is a little bit on the lesser side. I don't know about the money part. It is 90,000 or something lesser part. Okay. So check the money part. Yes, 19,000 it will be, not 90,000. Now coming to the third part. Okay. Coming to this third part, and plus GST also. Don't add the GST also in that. That along with this fee, you will have to give the GST also. Okay. Now here we see that there is this one thing, Henley Passport Index. In that India's position has changed from 85 to 77. Okay. So India's passport has strengthened over the period of time. It has strengthened over the period of time. What we see that, like Singapore's passport. Okay. So like Singapore's passport is remaining the most powerful. And like Japan and South Korea, they are securing the second place. So Japan and South Korea are on the second place. Okay. Then even if the European Union passports, they are also quite powerful. With the Indian passport, you can go to 59 locations. You can go to 59 locations, and there you will find that like free visa or visa on arrival. Okay. There is free visa on arrival, which you can use in case of 59 countries. So if you are planning to go to 59 countries, it is for you. Okay. So India's rank has improved in this Henley Passport Index. Okay. It is not that much useful. Just free में नहीं जा सकते. अच्छा, visa free जा सकते, means you have to go, you will get visa on arrival. So there is not like a free entry. Visa on arrival you can get, you can easily get the visa. That is one part. You can easily get the visa. Yes, if you are planning to go, it is up to you. भूटान, नेपाल, मालदीव्स। देखो नेपाल जाने के लिए कभी भी ना पासपोर्ट की जरूरत है ना ही कुछ, यू हैव टू जस्ट क्रॉस द बॉर्डर, एज यू क्रॉस द बॉर्डर यू आर देयर। देखो वीजा इज नॉट द कॉस्टली पार्ट, if you have to go to other country, you have to also book the flight, you have to also book the flight to go there. Okay, in most of the countries where visa is free, you have to go via flight, apart from Nepal and Bhutan. And when you have to go through flight, these days Air India is offering discounted rate. Okay, so if you are looking at a discounted air ticket, if you are looking at this discounted air ticket, then Air India is providing these days. Okay, so it is up to you, it's entirely up to you. नहीं, in case of Delhi, like you are saying, that Nepal is the second home. Okay, so in the same manner, what you will find that for people who are living in Delhi or Haryana or Punjab, Canada is their second home. Okay, so let's meet tomorrow then. Tomorrow we will be discussing more topics. We will discuss the remaining like the new current affairs tomorrow. Till then, apply for visa and let's meet tomorrow. Okay, thank you. Take care.